Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs. Hope everybody's doing well today. I was kind of in the middle of working on the journals that I did the other day with the expanded spine and the old books. I'll put that in the description box if you haven't seen that yet. And I was going to sew in the signatures. In fact, I already did it on one. And I thought to myself, well, I do have a lot of new subscribers, and they are new to junk journaling, and so I thought I would go ahead and pop on here and do that part of it because I think that intimidates some people. It shouldn't. It's really not that hard, but I'm going to go ahead and do that with you and maybe just do a little craft and chat. I know there's a lot of you out there that this may be old for you, but I do know we do have a lot of new people, so welcome. And welcome to all the people that keep coming back. I have a lot of regulars on my channel, and I do want to say hello to all of you and appreciate you watching. So anyway, I did these two journals the other day, and I absolutely love them. I am so hooked on this now. I have a ton of old books that I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be starting to make a lot more journals with old covers, and maybe just put them in my shop for people to decorate. And that's kind of what I want to show you. What I had decided to do on this, because it is kind of an odd size. It is, what did we decide? 7 by 5, a little under 5. And I went ahead and we expanded the spine. I did it to 1.5 inches. And I'm going to put 2 signatures in it. It really probably could be 3, but I'm going to want to do something in the middle of this signature, the 2 signatures. I'll show you later, but for now, I want to show you what I did, okay? I could have brought you along, but I just thought, well, I wasn't going to. Then I decided I probably should. I have decided to do just regular, here I'll show you in this one. I did pages that are basically all vintage, just about. A few other ones that are not, but for the most part, a lot of just kind of generic pages to put in here. A lot of French, a lot of just really antique things. I like the different textures and everything like that. So I decided to do that in both journals, and they are going to be Christmas journals, but honestly, you could use this journal anytime. The same with this one. But what I'm going to do, though, is I'm not going to really put anything Christmas on them, okay? I'm going to put Christmas things in them, but not permanently on them, okay? That way, if you want to use it for something else, you can. And I just think these have a lot of pages in it, and this would be a great December daily, December into January, whatever you want to use it for. Shoot, I think, what did I put in here? Oh gosh, about 120 pages. So, I mean, you could really use this for quite a long time. So anyway, I'm going to show you what I've done so far. This is what we did before. Okay, we had put our book together, and we covered the inside, covered the outside. Absolutely love how it looks. But what I wanted to do is go ahead and sew in my signatures, and I was going to show you how I do this. This is 1.5 inches in between the two books. So our spine is 1.5 inches, and it is 7 inches tall. So it's 1.5 inches wide and 7 inches tall. So what I do is I get a piece of paper, and this is 1.5 inches wide and it's 7 inches tall. Actually, it's a little bit under that. And what I do is I go ahead and I take that 1.5 by 7, I fold it in half, and I'll have a fold line going down here, and then I fold it in half again so that I have that. So it is totally equally divided, and that's just a cheater's way of doing it. And then when I get done doing that, I fold this in half like that, and then I fold it in half again like that. So then I will have a line here, a line here, a line here. I'll have a line over here, a line in the middle, and a line on the end. So there'll be 3 lines, one there, and I'm talking about fold lines, one there, and then one there, okay? So basically what that does is that evenly splits up the 1.5 inches. Now you could do math and use your ruler and figure it out, you know, find the middle, and then you go directly, you know, the middle of each one, but this does exactly the same thing, okay? And then what I do is where these lines intersect, I put dots. So I'll have little dots. I've already poked holes through this, so that's, but I would just take my pen and put a dot there, a dot there, a dot there, dot there, there, and there, 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 and there. And that tells me where I'm going to need to put my signatures. Now, if I'm doing 3 signatures, I would put 1, 2, 3 right there, okay? If I'm doing 2 signatures, I could put 1 there and 1 there. And that's how I'm doing it, because I'm actually going to put something in the middle of the journal later. But for now, I'm just going to show you the basic of how we're doing this. So the first thing I do usually is I punch my holes with this template. This is a template, and when I also mark top and bottom, even though I think I've divided it up pretty perfectly, you can always be off a little, and knowing where the top is and the bottom is always a good thing. So the next thing I do is I take this template, and this template, by the way, is exactly the size of what my longest page is in here. Okay, it's not really done to this. Okay, it's actually a little bit shorter. If you notice, it's a tiny bit shorter than my cover. Okay, on this side and over here. And the reason I do that is that I actually want to center my pages in my journal. So I actually make my template the size of my pages. Okay, the length of my pages. Some people do it the length of their journal. I don't, because I'm trying to center my pages into my journal. So then I take this and I kind of center it. I put it in the middle of, you can see where this line is right here. See, that's where it's one side starts and the other side starts. So I will center that in there, because that's where your pages are going to go. The bottom of your pages will go there, and the top will be there. So after I center it in there, I have my little spongy thing that I have here, and I just go in, okay, and I just punch holes. I'm going to punch the same hole so I don't mess up. I just punch holes where I want to put my signatures. So I'm punching one here and here, not in the middle, unless I was going to do a third signature. Here, 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 and here. Okay? So after I punched my holes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's for 2 signatures. If I'm doing 3, I'm doing 1, 2, 3. Okay? So there's my holes. I don't know if you can see them or not. I usually go back through and just kind of make sure they're in there good. And I've punched my holes, and I know that they're in the right spot. And I've centered it in between my book. This is a little flip-floppy, so, you know, it's like working in a cloth journal. But honestly, guys, this works out great, because then your journal opens up all the way. Okay, so now it comes time to punch holes in my signature. I get all of my papers ready the way I want them to be in the journal and position them in there. And then I paper clip. After I get them all ready, I get them all positioned. I like how they look. Everything's in the right spot. Then I just take it and I make sure I go as tight as I can toward the middle. I make a V, okay, and go down as tight down as I can. And I take a paper clip and I put one on this side, go down, and then I go over and I put a paper clip on the other side. Now some people put clips on all four. I don't do that really, but you can. They'll put another one here and another one there. And even after I do that, I always make sure I want to get it down in that V as best I can, okay? And now that I've moved it, I'm probably going to have a problem because I had already punched my holes. Oh, I think we look pretty good. Pretty good. I got them right back where they were. Once you move them around, then your holes will move around, and that's can be a problem sometimes. Okay, so after I've clipped it, then I take my template that I had, and this says top, so I'm going to go to the top. This is the way that it's facing, top. And now this is the same size as my papers, see? So I'm going to take the middle, this middle fold right here, not the two sides, the middle, and I'm going to make that in a V, and I cradle it in this in the pages like that, okay? And I'm going to hold it kind of at a V. This is where a lot of people use a book and they put it inside the book. Let's see, I don't know if I have one thick enough that I can show you. I don't know if I do. I don't think I do right-handed, but I'm going to grab something just to give you an idea. This is a really old, good French book that I got. What they do is they take this and they put this in there, and that helps cradle the pages in there. I don't, and then they punch their hole right in there like that. I don't do that. What I do is I have this little spongy thing. I don't even know where I got it from. Some sort of packaging. I've used it for a long time. I have another one in case it dies on me. But I just kind of hold my thing top to bottom, make sure it's in there straight. Okay? And then what I do is I just hold it at an angle and punch my holes right directly in, just like that. And I make sure that I'm holding it in a V without my finger behind there, and just go in 1, 2, 3. And that's how I punch my holes. Okay? I leave it paper clipped, and I've done both of them that way, and that works for me. Okay? That's how I do it. I find it pretty easy, and I've done a lot of journals. I think when I first started, I bought the little thing that We Are Memory Keepers. I still have it somewhere. And I found that was just made things harder. There was way too much thinking involved for me, and this to me is super easy. And you know, honestly, once you do a few journals, it really will be easy for you. Okay. All right. Now I got to figure out. I used wax thread, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of roll off a little bit of thread here. I'm doing it kind of long because I'm leaving my strings long. Not for any particular reason other than I might want to put something dangling off of them. So I'm going to leave, you know, enough to where it'll have a little dangle. I take a paper clip and I just tie it around one time. Not a knot, just tie it around one time. And I do that, and I still do it. And I've done probably 100 journals easily. And to me, it helps. I have a really big, how long is this? This is a 3.5 inch long, reasonably sharp needle. I love it because a lot of times, if I'm just doing a one signature journal, I just poke it right through. I don't even pre-poke it, and that's what I use. So I like a longer needle because if I somehow get lost through there and I can't find my papers, I can easily pull up and find out where I am. So that's what I use. I'm sure I got it probably on Amazon. I've had it forever, so I don't really remember. But anyway, that's what I use. So anyway, here's my journal. I want to make sure I have it right side up, and there is a right side up because we have letters here. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure my first signature is right side up. That's important. I have sewn them in upside down. And if you do that, there's only one fix, and that is to cut the strings and pull it out and, you know, put it in again. So I'm going to put my first signature in. I don't know why I usually start with my first one. And I'm just going to put that right through there. I mean, you can clip it in there if you want to. I usually don't. I mean, you could take this and put clips. Well, this one's kind of attached. Let me redo that. You can just clip that in there if that helps you get it in there. Just clip it on the side, clip it over here, and then that would help you, maybe help you get them in there. When I was doing my flip-flop journal with 4 signatures, I did clip them in there, but I usually don't do it on these, and you'll see why. I go through the middle first, okay? This is the middle hole, and I'm going through the middle hole on my cover that I've already punched the holes. Then I'm going to either go through the top or the bottom, and this can get tricky on material because you can't always see it. So what I do is I poke this through the other side where I went through already, and this will tell me where my hole's supposed to be. So I can just take that, and this is kind of why I don't clip it, because I just sometimes have to maneuver this. So I'm going to go through there, okay, and this is why that paper clip helps sometimes. Okay, let me make sure I didn't spin this around. Okay, good. So now I'm going to go ahead and put it through the back hole, and I'm holding this at a V, and it makes it way easier for the to go in. Because if you hold it flat when you're trying to push the holes through, your holes are going to move because you put the holes in when you had it at a V. When you go like that, your holes are moving. So you want to put it back the way you had it. Okay? So now we're at the top. You could be at the bottom. It doesn't matter, top or bottom. So now that we've done that, we're going to go all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to hold it in a V, because that way it'll go through there faster. And then I'm going to put it through the last hole. See, there's our last hole. And it's going to go right through there. Okay. And now we've got all 3 holes in. And get our thread through there. I'm going to kind of pull it. And that's, again, why that paper clip helps. Is look, see, it kept it from going through. Some people, what they do is they hold it with their thumb so it doesn't go through, and then they don't need the paper clip. I think the paper clip makes it easy. All right, so now that we've done through 2 holes, we're going to go back through the middle hole, okay? Actually, we've gone through 3 holes. We've gone through the middle, then the top, and then all the way back down to the bottom. And so now we're going to go through the middle hole. And the way to remember if you should go from the inside or the outside is, where's your thread? Here's your thread. It's on the outside, so now we have to go to the inside. And we're in the inside, we have to go to the outside. Okay, so here's my hole that we already went through, and this is usually the one that confuses people. So what I do is I go through the hole. You want to not split this thread that you've already put through, because if you do, you cannot tighten up your journal. So I've gone through that same hole, and now what I want to do is I want to hold this in a V, and I want to go back through this middle hole without splitting the thread. And if you hold it in a V, usually you can do it. And sometimes this can be a problem because the papers, if they move around at all, you may have a problem doing it, and there's a way to fix that. Okay, I am going to hold this in a V. I'm trying to do it to where people can see. And we're going to go through the hole that we already went through. and hopefully it'll go straight through, and it did. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I kind of split this thread on the way out. So I am going to pull this a little bit back, not all the way, and make sure that I do not split that thread. Okay? Again, because if you split the thread that you've already gone through, you cannot tighten your journal. Okay. You cannot tighten your papers. Okay, now I'm going to pull this off. See, it's not a knot, so I don't have to pull it off. I'm going to take off my paper clips that I already have, because if you don't take off your paper clips, you cannot tighten it. And I'm going to make sure, this is a little bit long, let me cut that. One of my threads is on each side of the string. One on this side, one on that side. And then I'm going to pull. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to crisscross them. They're that way. Then I'm going to crisscross them and pull, and that gives you leverage on each side. You can also loop it around on each one and pull, or you can crisscross, and what that does is it pulls it from the other side. So that means your signature is in there nice and straight. And usually this is when I make sure that I haven't put it in upside down, and I haven't. Okay, I have put papers in upside down, and guess what? You know what? The same way to fix it, you have to take it apart, or you can pull out that one paper if you don't care that much. Okay, so now that I've done that and I've crisscrossed it, okay, I'm going to tie a knot and then another knot, okay? And I'm going to leave these long just because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. So we have sewn in the one signature already. And as you can see, it's centered in between here and here and here. And we have a little bit of room here and a little bit of room here. And that's because we made our template just a tiny bit smaller. And the template really is because we've made our pages smaller. Usually I want my pages to be a total of 1/8 of an inch here and 1/8 of an inch here difference, or you know, somewhere in there. And then that way you have room at the top and the bottom so your pages aren't sticking out. I don't mind if they're even, especially on a book like this, but if you don't want them sticking out, then that's what that extra room is for. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to sew in my other signature, and hopefully we will get to the other part of this in this video. We're going to do a little bit of finishing up the cover, and as far as decorating the inside, I'm going to give you an idea of what I'm going to do, but I don't know that we're going to have time to do that. So we will go from there. Okay, so anyway, again, I'm just doing my paperclip thing. Anybody can do however you want. You can hold it with your thumb if you want. I find that this works really well for me. So, all right. So now I have my other signature. It's sitting over here. I've already put the holes in it. Already used a template. I squish it down really good. Make sure it's in a nice V. And this is where you normally will maybe accidentally put it in upside down if you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start in the middle hole that I've already punched. Okay. I've already done my holes here. Okay. So I'm going to go through the middle, which is easy to see on the white side, but not so much on the other side. So that's why I sometimes take my awl and figure out where the hole is. Like, I really cannot see where my hole is here. I have no idea. So I take my awl and I will go through the holes that are already punched. Okay. And I will put this through where I can see it, and I can see it right there. That's where it needs to be. So then, okay, this came off my needle, no big deal. And I'm going to go right back through. I'm just going to follow this. It lets me know where the hole is. Okay, so I'm going to go right through the hole that I've already punched. Okay. And this is my signature. It's just laying there because I haven't tightened anything in there yet. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, this time I went the bottom first. I didn't go to the top. You can go to the top or the bottom. And this is just a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. If you want to do the 5-hole, I just did a video on the flip-flop journal. It's the second video and it shows how to do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. I will go ahead and put that in the description box so that you can see that. It's really not that hard. But when I don't have long pages where I'm putting a lot of little pieces in, the 3-hole works just fine. Okay, so now I have this in a V, and I'm going to go ahead and go right through here, and that's why it goes through good, is because you're holding in a V. And then I'm going through the bottom, and now I'm going to go, I went through the middle, the bottom, I'm on the inside, I'm going to go out to the outside, and I'm going to go all the way to the top. Just remember, you're just trying to hit all 3 holes. I'm holding in a V, and then it's easy for me to see the hole on the inside, so I'm going to go through there. Okay, and now I have to do one more thing, is I'm going to go back through the middle, because that's where we tie it off. So I'm on the outside, I'm going to the inside. I can see the hole because that's where I put that. So I'm going to try not to split this string, and I'm going to go back through the same hole. Well, I don't want to put a new hole in there, but I don't want to split the string. So there we go. I'm holding this at a V, and that's why I don't like to clip it so much, because it's hard to hold it at a V and hold it up to see the hole if you have it clipped in. Okay, I clip the pages, but I don't necessarily clip it in the book. So now I'm holding it at a V, and I'm going to go ahead and try and go straight through, which I am. And I have not split this thread that's on that paper clip. And that's what you're trying to do. If you do, pull it out, put it back in. Don't split that thread, because you will not be able to tighten your journal. And if you've ever seen people with loose journals, it's because that's what they did. Okay, they split it. So then that is when you take your paper clips off, because you cannot tighten it all the way if the paper clips are in there. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to pull it, and I put my one string on one side, one on the other. Okay, and then I go opposite ends and pull again, and that makes it nice and tight. I check and make sure it looks tight. Okay, and then I go ahead and do 2 knots, and that's it. And usually I put a dab of glue in there. I'm not going to do it yet, because I think I might put a bow in there later. Not sure what I'm going to do. But anyway, that is how we have done our little book. I think it looks really cool. It's got a lot of cool pages in it. What I was going to show you is a few other things that I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do it on both just because it's redundant. So let's see. I'm trying to remember what we're doing here. Is that? No, this is it. I put the stuff in baggies of what we're going to do. All right, so what I want to do here is, because I have already sewn in my signatures now, this is the back of my spine, this is where I'm going to put some decorative lace over the back, and it's going to cover that, okay, and it's also going to decorate it. So I want to put that here. I don't know if there's really a right or wrong side on this, so now this came off of like a collar type thing, and so it does kind of want to curl a little bit, but that's okay. And I am going to use my 3-in-1 to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on here. I should have probably filled this up. It's getting kind of low. But I'm going to be using my 3-in-1. It works really well, fabric to fabric, I think. Fabric tack is the same thing, really. I just recently bought like a case of this 3-in-1, or it might have been fabric tack. I'm not sure which one it was, But it ended up being almost $5 a bottle cheaper to do it that way. It was just, and I go through this, you know, quite quickly, but it was like, you know, a tremendous amount of difference in price. And it was a lot to buy it all at one time, but you know what? It was literally $5 a bottle cheaper. So I think it ended up being like $10 for an 8 ounce instead of $15, which is a huge difference. You just had to buy a case of it. So it was a case. So I did. And, you know, it's the same way I buy everything. I buy my paper in bulk. That's why I usually have so many of things, because it's usually so much cheaper to buy anything in bulk. So I tried to put my glue basically where I have, you know, things that it won't show. And I'm going to put this here. And I know for a fact that this is going to want to move because it's really curved. I don't care that it's perfect, but I want it to be, you know, on there good. And I have my book laying kind of flat. So I'm going to smush that down. I'm going to take, I have this, these towels that I bought, and they're kind of fuzzy. And I accidentally, because I couldn't find my wipes, tried this, and it works really good to pull the glue out from in between those pieces so you cannot see the glue. And it actually grabs it really well. So I've been using it. Now, you know, after you use it after a while, you have to throw it away, but I got them really cheap. So, all right, so now I'm going to kind of bend it the way it's going to go. And I'm probably going to go over it a little bit more, make sure it's down good. I mean, this thing really works good to do that. It was just by accident that I figured it out, because I couldn't find where my wipes were. That's usually how I do it. And then I did this, and because I guess it has texture, it goes down and grabs the glue and pulls it out from in between all the spots, and it just pulls it out. So I bought these on Temu. I bought a bunch of them. And, you know, it'll last a while before I have to get rid of it. It won't do any good to probably wash it, because, I mean, I'll try it, but I don't think it will, because this stuff is, you know, waterproof. Okay, so I think it looks really good. We're going to do more to it together. So, what I decided I wanted to do is I'm going to put a few things on here. All right, so I want to go ahead and put these little brass metal corner things on here, okay, like that. But before I do that, let me get my stuff out real quick. I should have done that. This is Inca Gold, and I am going to take that, and it's just basically like rub and buff or anything else. It's kind of a wax, and I am going to take that, and I could have done that before I put my signatures in, but I kind of wanted to do all this in one little. I'm going to take it and go over the top, and I'm just doing it just on the tops right here, because this is a really, I mean, it's an antique book, and it is kind of worn, and it kind of, I think it fancies it up a little bit too, you know. And I'm just going to go all the way around the edges, you know. Okay, and I'm going to do that here. And I'm going up a little bit on the top just so you can kind of see it a little, you know. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this to both books, but I'm not going to have you sit through both like I did the last video. That's why I sped that one up a lot, because I thought, well, y'all are going to be bored to death. But anyway, and I'm sure sometimes people are too, but you know, just turn it off. That's all I can tell you. Can't please everybody. Anyway, you know, people that are new have to learn somehow. So anyway, I am going to go ahead and go all the way around. And this may seem like a little thing, but I'm going to tell you, all the little things add up when you make a journal. That's what makes them look special, is that you go through the trouble of doing the little details. And I always enjoy seeing that on the people that get my journals. It's usually one of the things I always say is all the little details, a lot of little details. And I think the little details are really what make them special. And I think I like doing the little details. I love that little, I don't know, extra, I don't know, whatever it is you want to call it. All right, so now I'm going to put this. This is a press and seal. That is your friend. Get some of it. It's not regular seal, but that's all you have. That'll work. But buy press and seal and then push it in there, because this stuff does dry up, and you know. Okay, so now that I've done that around the edges, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put these on the corners, and I am going to use my 3-in-1 glue to help secure it. So what I do is I put a tiny bit of glue, not a lot, just right on the corner. Okay, and that just helps secure it. And I will put this on. Hopefully it'll fit on. And if I have to, I take my pliers and I squish it or open it and then put it back on. But because sometimes the edges are so frayed that you really can't get it on there unless you open it up and put it back on. So that is all I'm going to do, is put that corner there. And this is what I do. I thought it was important for people to see that. I bought these on Amazon ages ago. They're not expensive. Of course, you can get the fancier ones, and I use those a lot. But these work really well. They go on both sides, and they can just fit right on. And if you put a tiny bit of glue, they will stay on. And I'm going to get that underneath there. Sometimes it's hard to, you know, get both sides in there. And as I said, you can take your pliers and then open it up a little bit. Like this did not go on good. Let me try it again. There we go. Oh, now it's not on that side. It's not wanting to cooperate very well. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Now that's on. And that little tiny bit of glue will help keep it on and keep it secure. I'm going to do the back. And put, where's that gold coming from? I guess it's flakes. Just right on the corner. I don't know why I didn't fill up my glue right before I did this, but I didn't think. Okay. Again, I kind of start on the corner and then go on. I might have to use my pliers on this one because it looks like it's really frayed quite a bit. Let's see. Well, maybe not. Depends on what angle you go on. Yeah, I think I am on that one. What happens is if it's really frayed quite a bit, let's see where my tools are, then you have to kind of go in there and open it up a little bit. So you'll just take this and then kind of bend it out. And that allows you to get it on there, and then you bend it back. It bends extremely easy. Not hard to do. I think my glue's dry, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more glue. Yeah, if it's frayed quite a bit, it's harder to get on, so that's why you have to do that. And then this gives you a wider area to get in there. And then you can get it on. Let me get that. Oh, okay. Let me do that a little bit more. You do that, and then you can just easily press it right back when you get it on there. So put a little bit more glue in there. All right. So that should work. Yeah, there we go. So now I have it on there. I'm going to go ahead and take my pliers and just kind of smush down and just put it back the way that it was, just so that it stays on. And the glue will help secure it too. I got some glue on the outside. Rub that off. Okay, then I'm going to do the bottom one, and that one doesn't look as bad. And that really was only like that because if it's frayed a lot on there, then it'll be a little bit harder. And then, like I said, you just open this up, put it on there, and squish it, and it goes right back. So anyway, I think this is kind of important when you're using one of the tools that I use to work with old books. Now see, that one just slipped right on. So if it's not super frayed and kind of messed up, then. And also too, I used matte medium, and that does seal your book. So if that's something that you're concerned with, another thing that I like to use, get it out if I can grab it. Let's see, where did it go? Here we go. This is Dorland's. I think I said Moreland's the other day, but it's Dorland's wax. This stuff, I probably will put it on there too. What it does is it seals and gives it, it's not really a waterproof, but more of a waterproof type finish. And I just put it on, and then I'll let it sit there for a second, and then I just wipe it off. It doesn't affect the color or anything like that. So, and I actually do that on a lot of things. Almost all my covers have that on there. Now, we did use the matte gel medium, and that does seal it also, so probably is kind of redundant. Probably don't need to do that. But I like to do it as an added benefit. So now I'm going to just take a little wipe and wipe it off, any extra. You're kind of buffing it in, really. And it just kind of seals it. It doesn't really make it shiny. It's a very flat, dull kind of look to it, but it really does help seal it, especially when you're doing these, you know, book covers like that. So there you go. See, that's how it looks when it's all done. It does not affect the color, and it does seal it. So I like it way better than Mod Podge. Mod Podge to me kind of looks shiny and plastic, and this stuff does not look that way at all. It doesn't feel waxy. You can't really feel it. I do use beeswax sometimes too, but I usually do that when I'm doing just a paper cover. Okay, so now that I've done that, the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to put in this little nameplate thing. And the reason I decided to do that is I am not going to put anything Christmas on the cover. I'm not going to do that, okay? Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to put the tie in first because that'll make it easier. Okay, this is just some seam binding that I scrunched up and I coffee dyed. It was beige, and it didn't coffee dye it very much, but it looks a little bit, a little grungy. So what I decided I wanted to do is I am going to put in, I was originally going to tie something around this, but then since I decided I'm not going to put anything on the cover permanently, I'm going to put something on the cover, but not permanently. That's the thing. And the only thing, I'll put this on, but I don't want anything Christmas to be on there. That was my whole goal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me get my things out. I'm not very prepared here. I have these little eyelets. Let me see which color. I'm going to probably use these. I need to get more. Oh, those two are different, huh? I guess I got them from two different companies, so they probably look different. Get the same there. Have to order some more, it looks like. Okay. What I'm going to do is I am going to put this on here. Let me get my tool. And I am going to use my Crop-A-Dile for that. And I think what I want to do probably is measure my center. This is my Tim Holtz ruler, one of them. I have several, so I'm going to go ahead and figure out where the center is. So you find the 0 and you want the number to be the same on each side. So that's 3.5, 3 1/4, 3 1/4. That's right there. That's the center right there. So I am going to mark this. My pen doesn't want to work. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. A lot of times I eyeball it, but I don't always do that well. So I'm going to just probably try and do this. So there's my center. Oop, I moved it, didn't I? Yeah, okay. There's my center. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just going to punch my holes with my Crop-A-Dile, and I'm going to set my distance. All right, yeah. For however far out I want to do it on the same. I don't really know yet. I'm just going to eyeball that and then set it way too far. So I'm going to go, that's what this thing is right here on the top, is it, you can set it and that way it's the same on both. Go a little bit more in because these things take a little bit of room. Let's do that. Okay, I think that's good. And I'm going to punch a hole. There we go. So that's where that's going to go. And then I'm going to do it on the back. This thing always gets clogged up when you use it. And because I set this, I can make it the same distance back that I did the other one. And I already marked the middle. So let's do that. I just realized I didn't turn on all my lights, so I hope you guys can see pretty good. I don't know whether I should do this backlight. I'll do it late now. You guys can see it. Is that better? Yeah. Usually at night I turn on an extra light and I forgot. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put this in. All right. And that is just going to go right here and squish it. There we go. So that looks nice and finished there. And I'm going to do that over here. Of course, you can use a regular eyelet. You definitely don't have to use these. I happen to think the little metal pieces on these, when you do them, it just kind of finishes it off. So we did those two. And now I'm going to take my little piece of my seam binding, and I take it in half like that, and I am going to push it through here in the middle. Okay, and it's going to have a little loop on that end, and then I'm going to put that through there, and that is where my hole's going to be. Okay, I could do the little knot on the bottom. I might do that. I think it might look better. If that's the case, then you basically do it the opposite way. You take the middle and push it through the back. And then go like this. And it will hold like that. So that's how that'll look, okay? And this is probably longer than it needs to be, but I will probably cut that later. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And that is going to be my tie for this, because I have decided that I'm not going to have anything go across it. You'll see what I'm going to do. It's going to be a little different, but I'm kind of making this a Christmas, non-Christmas journal. So this will just basically, my strings are so long. I got to decide what I'm going to do with those. It's going to go like that, and it will tie just like that. Oh, and the reason I double it is just I want it to have like a, you know, kind of a big bow on it. Otherwise you could just tie a knot on one side. There we go. And so that's just going to have this crumply little bow over there. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put this on. And you could have put brads through it and put it through. I'm not going to do that just because I'm going to glue it on. So that's all I'm going to do with that. But I am going to go ahead and I want to put a piece of paper behind it, but I don't want it to be white. Let me see what I have here, guys. I really want cardstock. So I know I have beige cardstock somewhere, a piece of it. Let me see here. No, that's still too white. Well, I can always change that, can't I? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I am going to ink this up a little because I want it to be not stark white. So how about if we take some antique linen, and I'm just going to do this and see how that looks. Oh yeah, I think I like that. I think that'll be good. I want it to blend in with the cover. Yeah, I think that'll work. That'll be perfect. Okay, so we're going to do antique linen. And I've done that. And I am going to, what happened to my little thing? Here it is. Cut out a piece to go in there. I'm really not sure. You're not going to be able to take it out again on this thing because this doesn't have a slot to do that, but I'm going to leave it kind of blank just because. Let's see if it'll fit in there. It's a little bit too big. Let me do the width real quick. And I do want it to fit in the slot though. So let's see here. Where's my little pen? I lost my pen now. Let's see here. Just a tiny bit right here. And then right here. Okay. All right, I think that's going to fit. Kind of, sort of. Yeah, it does. Okay, so that I'm going to put right here. But I don't want, I just hate having these little holes over here. So I am going to take some little teeny tiny brads. And I have some that are a little bit bigger, and they probably might work too, but I'm going to take these, and these are Tim Holtz ones. And they're super tiny. Let's see, I got 2 of those. I have some that are just like a little bit bigger, and I'm going to put those in there, and I'm just going to go ahead and open them up. And okay, sometimes they're hard to open because you can't see them because they're so tiny. There we go. See how that just kind of fills that hole in there? I don't know, it's just a thing I have. And I do have some that are a little bit bigger that don't look that bad, but you know, hey, these work. I'm going to go ahead and, these are antique brass also, so, and usually what I end up doing is I cut off the little pieces just so that they won't end up sticking out, and it's really easy to cut them so that they're shorter. Do this last one, and then I just kind of smush them down, make sure they're flat as that they can be. Maybe take my scissor or something else, kind of make sure that they're nice, that the brads are laying down there flat. Okay, and I'm going to put my glue in here to glue my piece in there. And whoever gets this, they can put whatever they want on there. I thought it'd be like, if you're using it for a December daily, you could put the year. You could put somebody's name in there. You could put journal, whatever you want to put. And I'm going to put that in there. Just drop it in there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to glue this on, and I'm going to put it about right here. Okay, so I am going to just use my 3-in-1. You can use hot glue. I don't like hot glue because it gets in between, and I don't know, I think hot glue sometimes actually doesn't hold as well. It can break off. So I just put a little bit of glue everywhere on the big parts here, and I'll also put some on the back right here, big glob of it. Okay. And I am going to put this, as I said, right about here. I think that looks good. All right, I'm going to smush it down, and it is going to get up in between. Let me see, how does that look? Very crooked because it's sliding. Okay. It's hard to tell at the angle that I'm at. It really is, because I'm not sitting up over it. So I'm going to go ahead and move that up and just see if that looks reasonably straight. Let me see. I'm going to stand up so I can see. Okay, I think that looks pretty straight. All right, and now I'm going to kind of push down on it, make sure it's in there good. And again, I'm going to pick up my extra glue, because it will seep out a little bit, and that is where you want to pick up your glue. All right, and then we're going to let that sit. Make sure there's not a bunch of extra glue. Okay, and that is what we're going to do. Let me see. Yeah, it looks pretty straight. Okay, and I don't see a ton of extra glue. I see a little over here. So I did put a lot of glue on it, but you can't really see. And it's not perfectly level or on there, so I am going to take a clip. Let's see if I can find one that's long enough. I don't know if this is long enough. We shall see. if it will go down far enough. Got to untie this so I can get it in there. All right, let's see if it'll go down. Nope, it will. Maybe it'll go on the side. I don't want to do it just on the side though, because then it'll kind of it will kind of make it go lopsided. I don't want that, so I'm going to hold it for a second. Make sure I get the extra glue off. I really do like how that looks. I think it looks fantastic. Anyway, what I was going to say, as far as decorating it, I was going to, you know, put a tie in here and then slip in one of these. Like, I couldn't decide on which one I liked. Okay. And then I got some Sam Poole. I went ahead and downloaded this. I had been looking at it, her Christmas things, and I thought that looked cute too. But because I couldn't make up my mind, what I decided I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bull clip on top right here. And I am just going to do like this. So whoever, if they want to put something on there, they can. I was actually going to put a few things maybe and just have them all clipped on there, maybe like this, you know. And just have it be a just something clipped to the journal like that. All right, just like that. Nothing super fancy, just like maybe a couple of things on top, and that's it. I was thinking about putting the plate down here, but I kind of thought, no, I'm going to go ahead, and I think it looks good that way. I don't know, guys. I guess I could have put it down here, huh? Then it wouldn't stick out. But it sure does look good on there, doesn't it? Looks really good. Okay. I could put it here. I don't know. I just think that looks really good like that. I would have to put it right here. I don't know. You tell me, guys. I think this looks cool. Part of what I was going to do too is then put it like right here. Put this in here. I just think that looks so cool. I don't know. I just love the way the journal looks. I don't want it to be too fussy, and that was kind of what my thing was. So I'm going to leave it the way it is. I think it looks really, really neat. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other one. And so we will have this really fun journal that like I said, I'm not going to put anything in it that is permanent, that is specifically Christmas, okay? That's my goal on this. So you could use it for year round if you wanted to. Isn't that just, it's just perfect. Not too much, not too little. Now I am going to add some trims and things on the pages, just a little bit, not a lot. I'm going to add some beads, I think, here. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other journal. So, oh, and one more thing. I am going to add this, see this little charm thing here? I am going to add something in here and have it dangling right on the side, okay? Or maybe down here, I don't know, somewhere. Just because I just thought it would look cute on there. So anyway, that is it on the covers, on making these journals. As I said, I don't think I'm really going to have time to go into the decorating of them, but I did really want to just show people how I sewed in the signatures and what I did to finish off these covers and what I am planning on doing with them. So just to give you an idea. So that's it, guys. That's all I have for today, and I will be back soon. I'm not sure when. Probably in a few days. We'll see. All right? Take care, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.